If you don't fit in, maybe you're meant to stand out. I've realized recently that I don't feel like I fit in with filmmakers anymore, which is something that is hard for me to really wrap my mind around, because I've spent all my life identifying with other filmmakers, identifying myself as a filmmaker. You know, I feel like that's always been my group, and like more than anything, what I cared about is like I want to help support other filmmakers and help other filmmakers become successful in the film industry. Like I want to be someone who is known for helping my friend group, but I think my values have shifted so much over this last year as I've gotten more deep in my faith. I've taken my faith more seriously. I apprentice with Christ and getting closer to God. And wow, this is beautiful over these waters right now, dude. Hold on, man. Wow, I gotta go there sometime. But I just feel like I'm a little distracted. I just feel like I don't feel like I belong. And I feel like I belong more at my church and around my fellow Christians, and I this dream of wanting to help support other filmmakers by maybe one day hiring full-time writer-directors to become auteurs and training them up to become auteurs. That's always been a dream. For a while it's been a dream. But now my dream more so is like I want to make films and help get films made that, bring people to Christ and create, spread the kingdom of God. And that's a very different picture, because if you look at what filmmakers do generally, they're just like, if you look at my work in high school, it's a lot of like that, where you're just trying to get attention. A lot of filmmakers are just trying to get attention. They're just trying to get attention for their work. They're trying to get, a reaction out of people. And that's, most of my work is that, like most of the work I've done over the years is that. But I think I'm now at a place where I'm like, no, you know what? It's like life is too short. We should be making something that's much harder to come up with, that moves people, that is bringing positivity to people and growth and love and meaning and also God, the kingdom of God. And I'm learning what that is. I don't think I've fully formed that for my future, but I'm starting to. And I think it's as fully formed as it's going to be, but it's, I want to go towards that direction more. And I think what's discouraging is feeling like I don't fit into this industry anymore. I don't belong in it. I don't know why. I know that people in this industry are going to scoff at what I'm working on, but I know that there's an audience for it. There's people who need it just like I do. Like when I write something, I write what I need to make. What I know in my heart is like something personal to me. And that usually is what connects most with people who see it. And it scratches an itch deep down that nothing else does. And the trouble is when you're surrounded by people who don't see it that way, or who are not really, they're not walking the same walk you are. And that's fine. Like I've been on my own journey. I've been different places on my journey. And I just, I'm realizing now, I might not fit in, but maybe I'm meant to stand out. Maybe this is God's way of like putting his light in the industry is if I'm going about making films the way that I do, the way that I know in my heart I should be doing, that God put me here for, that becomes a positive influence on others, and on the world and in the film industry. Like, what if that's his purpose for me? And that's fine. Now, somebody mentioned to me, you could pray on this. You could ask yourself, and whatever you're going through, I recommend trying this. God, give me the conviction, strengthen my conviction to stay here and stay true to my values, or make me so uncomfortable that I have to leave. Make it clear to me, Lord. And you could try that prayer. So I want to ask you, want to turn this around on you based on like what I'm going through. You know what I'm going through, but I want to know what are you going through where you don't feel like you fit in. It might not be as like cut and dried as or like, you know, something as spiritual as what I'm going through. There might be something simple, like people, they just maybe have different values in some other regard, like, but you are strong in your values, but you feel like you don't belong. Do you think it's possible that you're meant to be there because of your differences, and you're supposed to make a difference? What do you think? You know, shoot me an email or leave a comment below about what it is that you experience that makes you feel like you don't belong somewhere. Because you know what? You do belong. You know, whatever it is in your heart, if something's genuine that you care about, if you ever find yourself, like maybe it's your faith or something, but if you ever find yourself like genuinely, you know, deep down that this is where you should be, and you've grappled with it before, there's probably a reason for it. And you know, maybe you're where you don't think you belong. But maybe that's because you do belong there. You're the first step for either, you know, if it's spiritual, if it's like my situation, you're the first step for God's hands and feet to be affecting that part of the world, or that subsection of society. Maybe you are serving a purpose, but you just don't see it yet because you're at the beginning. That's where I'm at right now, man. I'm at the beginning. I can see it. I just see the people I'm surrounded by, and I think, you know, I love these people, and I want to be in service to them. I know they don't want to be in service to me. No way. They just, or maybe they do, but maybe not in that, you know, not all of them. If they knew who I was, well, as a Christian, you know, they don't want to be in service to that. That's fine. But they do want to be in service to me as a filmmaker. They like my work. They want to work with me. There's people who I like, who I want to work with. And I think that's the best you can do, is just be the best version of yourself you can be the best person God intended you to be. And if they notice a difference, if you are different, they will see it, and that's all that matters. You know, you will make a difference. And you know what? I've experienced this. I remember years ago working with a filmmaker who, you know, a bunch of filmmakers who were Christian, and I just came out of like the worst experience possible, man. I worked on a project that I got burned so bad by somebody I loved and trusted, and who was religious. And I wasn't where, you know, I didn't know where I was going with my faith. I didn't really think about it. I was trying to, you know, I considered myself agnostic before I came back to Christ. But I was working with some people who, they were Christian. They were, you know, they are, and people who I respect. And I just remember just it being a very loving set, very much like what you'd expect, you know, going to church. And I remember there's moments where, you know, other people in that situation wouldn't have handled it as well as they did. I remember, like some situations came up where I felt like this is a lot you're asking of me. Like this is a lot. Hey, like I can't do that. You're putting me in a tough spot here. And other people, like, that might be how we stop working together. Not these people. Like this director, you know, and he's a good friend of mine now. He had the ability to step back and realize, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You know, I didn't. And then was like super gracious. Even though he was bullheaded enough to put myself in that position, he had the humility to step back and realize, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. Now, I love that about him. I love that he's bullheaded enough to put me in that position, but I know now he has the humility to realize that, and I think it's more so a thing of, I've witnessed this at my church. It's like they like to send you into the deep end, and like just go, baptism by fire, just send you into the deep end, and see what happens, in terms of like services. And as a filmmaking is very stressful. But when you're working with Christians, I find you have a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th gear with working with them, because they just, like, I haven't had a situation come up where the person didn't have humility. At least in my case, I'm lucky with that. I'm sure there are people who don't have their faith sorted out and they don't know how to navigate, dealing with people. But I've been in situations where, like, normally other people, it would have burned a bridge, but these people, that they're very much like, I just have the energy and the space that I need to work with them. And I think that's more like God working in our lives. That's God knowing how to create the space, create the boundaries, create the respect, and create the understanding that is required when you're working with people. Because filmmaking gets difficult, man. Like, when you're moving a lot of expensive equipment, you're doing a lot of different things, you have a lot of things to manage, and like, you have to manage other people. There's a lot of stress involved, a lot of money involved sometimes, and it gets to be, you do feel, when you feel wronged, it feels like it feels like it's multiplied. The wronging feels multiplied because there's so much stress involved. When someone wrongs you in filmmaking, it feels like it cranks it up 5 to 10x of what it would be in normal life. And because of that, you have to become an expert at navigating stressful situations with people. And with Christians, I've had so much good experiences with them. I mean, some of them, some Christians, I'll be honest, as like, I've had 2 actors who kind of put me in a weird spot. Not sure what to make of that, but like, once I think one of them it was fine. I was able to cut ties with, like, or replace on the project, but that's, I think, yeah, there's been 2 caveats, but I think that could definitely be things that they're not really looking at in their life. But I also had the choice of trying to make things work with them, but it was too great a risk. I wasn't sure. It was like early on in the project, and I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of problems here that I'm not worth risking. So I take it back. I have had 2 situations. Forgive me. I have had 2 situations where people, it's technically Christian, where they were overlooking some things. They were asking. They do this. There's people who do these things called demand clustering. That might be a good video next, where somebody asks you to do something that's reasonable, and then before you know it, within a week, they've like put too much on your plate, especially if you're making a film. Oh, I have I'll be in town this day. Can you find a location? We can shoot that scene. Let's do that. All right, I need a contract soon before that. I need my updated script. And then they don't know I've already had to cast an actor. My nana died. All this stuff, like, it's just way too many things on my plate. And you could talk things out with them and figure out, like, make sure that they know what they're doing. But if they don't know what they're doing, or they do, it's probably going to become a problem later. And you just got to ask yourself, do you want to run the risk of facing that again? You don't have to. You can just work with people who aren't going to do that, period. And you'll probably be better off. So that's where I've been. But yeah, for the most part, though, I've had some good luck. And back on filmmaking in general, it's like, I think my role is to try to work on myself and be the best writer, director, Christian man I can be, and just be that ray of light of God in those people's lives if I can. If I can't, if I fail, that's fine. I mean, I'm a broken person. I mess up, but I think I'm at a place in life where I can do better than I did in the past, and I'm excited about that. But anyway, this is a little bit of a long-winded, twirly video, spinning all over the place. I hope this was helpful for you. If you want to support the channel, like, comment, subscribe, and give me your thoughts. Any engagement you can put on the channel will be very helpful. I really appreciate your support. If you have a question that you want either in private, or let me know if it's private, or if you want me to make it a video, you can leave a comment or put it in the email askthomasprophet@gmail.com. Prophet spelled with 2 F's and 2 T's. I'm excited to get correspondence with people and yeah, just have conversations, man. Like this, my goal is to find my mini kingdom within God's kingdom of serving others in a way that is unique to me. And I might not be qualified to answer your question, but I know if you call me, or God calls me through you to answer that question, you know He's going to qualify me to answer it. But I appreciate you watching. I hope this is helpful. I'll catch you later. Love you. Pray you have a great day. Bye.